Hello everybody. This is a new video, and in this video I'm going to show you how I do the versioning of my Exponent app with backend. So I'm building this Mafia game with Exponent and Apollo, and I came across the issue that my beta testers were often on a previous version of the app. And yeah, the what happened was, like, they are testing, I release a new version, and they have to renew the app by hand, because they have to go to notifications and click the blue refresh button in the expo app, or they have to close the app totally and reopen it. And if everybody has to do that by hand, what happened is that they were often forgetting it, and they were often not knowing that there was a new version of the app. And of course, this is like not really nice. It should be automatic, I thought, and so that's why I thought of a solution on how to do this. So let me first explain a little bit about the organization, the architecture that I'm using. First of all, I use Exponent and with for React Native to make really quick iterations and publish my app on a backend from Expo to really quickly release it to beta. And on the backend, I use a GraphQL server on my own server on linode.com. And I will show you the script here. So I am basically defining on the server, I am defining the newest version number of the client, of the Exponent app. And here I put it on 9, as you can see. So that's what the server knows. And every time I push a new version of Expo, I update the client version number on the server. So I also have to update the server for that. So what happens is, normally, what would normally have to, okay, first things first, let's first explain what would normally happen. Normally, I would update my app, and I would do this command, expobased, and what happens if I do that is the app gets pushed to the CDN of Expo, so that everybody can download it whenever they reopen the app after it's been closed in the background. Or if they hit the refresh button, they also download the newest version. Or if there are new users, they get the newest version too. But what's so stupid is they don't get the newest version if they don't do that. So what I did is I define in my import file of the client of React Native Expo, I define the client version number here. So basically every user that has the app knows what version number it is. And then it checks it against the server, and I will show you how that works exactly. So in it checks the server. It checks if the version from the server is more than the current client version number, then it will show this. And in this case, I just updated the local server to version 9 here, but the client is still on number 8. So then this happens, it shows the screen, it says version 9 is available, get it. And if you click on get it, it uses util.reload. That's an Exponent util function which will refresh the app, download the newest files, and restart the app. So if I click on that, it will do that. It will download the newest, and because we are running it locally, it already has the newest. And as you can see in import, we are on version 8. So yeah, it doesn't really do much now because it thinks version 9 is available because I defined 9 here, but we are still on 8 because yeah, I defined it that way. But normally, if you click on it, it will download the newest version, and then we would be on version 9, and then it would refresh the app, and then we can enter the app again, which is great because this way, yeah, it will automatically make sure, it will enforce users to have the newest version. So you might be interested in how exactly I present the newest version number from the server to the client, because yeah, that's kind of important to know if you want to implement it yourself. So for that, I'm using Apollo. Apollo is a GraphQL framework that's really useful to use GraphQL with your React Native app. And basically what I'm doing is this. I have this query version, and I run it every time I compose the root container component, which is also the component that shows you that the new version is available, if it is. So before this component is loaded, it runs this query against my React Native server, or my GraphQL server. And it does that every minute. So every minute, this query will ask, is there a new version? Yes or no? And if there is, it will show the button to reload the app. So users are always forced, within a minute, if there's a new version, users will have the newest version. And you might ask yourself, like, okay, so how does that work? Well, if you have a React Native component, and yeah, in case you already know how Apollo works, just skip this part. But if you don't know, if you have never used Apollo before, Apollo is really useful with, if you have like a React Native component, like root container, you just apply the compose function to this component. With the compose function, you can add multiple properties as props to the component. Connect means that I add the Redux state and the Redux dispatch, and GraphQL can give data to the component. So this query will give me the version, the data of the server of the version, and it will reload this query every minute. So every minute it will re-render the root container component with the new property of version in the data property. So yeah, I will show you the root container. I think I can show you how it looks like exactly. If I look for root container, yeah, as you can see here, this is what the root container gets for data, and that happens because I run the GraphQL function in the compose onto the component. And as you can see here, it gets version 9. Why 9? Because I have a GraphQL server that returns 9 if we run the query against it. And in case you have never used a GraphQL server, this is kind of how I have it working. So I define client version number equals 9 here, and then we have a GraphQL server has a resolver that for every query. So the query is version. So let's search for that. As you can see, the query is defined. The schema of the query is that it should return an integer. And if we resolve that schema in the resolver, yeah, then you can see like resolver's query version returns client version number. So every time I change that number, it will actually be returned by the resolver of the GraphQL server. which is great because then we are 100% sure that all the users are enforced to use the newest Exponent client version. And this can be really useful for testing because you just want your users to have the latest version. And it can be really frustrating if it's not the case. So yeah, I'm really happy with the solution. And I'm really curious, what solutions did you find for this? And are you using a similar thing, or do you maybe have a more clever solution? Let me know. Hit like and subscribe, and if you have any more questions or tips or whatever, just let me know. Let's discuss. Bye bye.